Imagine if you're Mark Guehi, you've just completed your medical for Liverpool, you've passed it, and then someone comes knocking on the door and says, "Hiya, Eagles decided to piss Palace off and go to West Ham." I mean, I feel bad for him. I feel bad for us in this moment.
This is exactly why I'm pro player. This right here is exactly why I am pro player. For the whole summer, we were gaslit about the way Isak behaved, and I defended him, and I defended him, and I defended him, and I defended him from the beginning of the summer until today. Mark Guehi is respectful. Look at the way that Mark Guehi is acting. He's so respectful. He went to training. He's played for Crystal Palace. He's showing them so much respect. He's respecting them up until his dream move was taken away from him in the middle of a medical because of his incompetent football club. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. This is why I'm pro player. This is why I backed Isak. This is why nice guys finish last, because of like this.
There's no way I was the only one that was so hyped about this signing. Mark Guehi, we got the here we go. This is giving me Nabil Fekir flashbacks. Bro, the farewell video was ready. Everything was ready, you guys. And the deal collapsed in the final moments of this deadline day window, probably because they couldn't get a replacement. I'm not exactly sure what all the reasons were, but bro, he's gonna stay at Crystal Palace this season. He's gonna stay at Crystal Palace this season, and I feel devastated. I feel devastated because he felt like such an important signing. It ain't Palace's fault, bro. We had everything wrapped up on time. He was in the literal look. I'll literally read you. He was in the Liverpool offices. Everything was ready, you guys. Everything.
This is what I don't like about deadline day. When you leave things in hope that people do the right thing on deadline day, someone's fingers are always going to get burnt. And unfortunately, it looks as though obviously like Liverpool's fingers have been burnt a little bit, but it looks like it's Mark Guehi that I feel sorry for, because by all accounts, people will say he's been the model professional. He's gone about it the right way. He's not kicked up a fuss. He's not tried to force his way out of the door. He's went under the premise that as long as the money comes in, and as long as the fee can be agreed, I've agreed my personal terms to make it easy, more than likely going to pass a medical, I'll become a Liverpool player. So from his perspective, he's probably checked out in the last 24 hours and thought, yep, I've done what I needed to do. I'll be a Liverpool player by Tuesday morning. And all of a sudden now Palace have just pulled the rug from underneath his feet. Now, is that poor planning and preparation from Palace because they knew this was inevitable? Did they want to plan so poorly just in the case that something would fall through? In which case, it's kind of sly on Guehi, really, because you...
Well, just to interrupt you, that is what happened. Their signing fell through. I think got hijacked by West Ham.
No, I think what they'll be trying to do is make him sign a new deal. But maybe he goes in January. Maybe they've said, look, sit tight with us. We didn't get our replacement. You can go in January. I imagine that is the conversation. Palace were ready to let Guehi go, but they didn't sign their man. So they've kept Guehi. Maybe Guehi has just said, right, I will give you until January to get your man, but I am off ski in January. That is how I believe that this will go. That is how the deal, I believe, would have been worked out. I imagine that Guehi will go in January. And I think that there will be an agreement. But we all know what agreements mean. We all know that those agreements aren't necessarily what they are supposed to represent. And they're certainly not binding. But I think that, reading between the lines, that is how I believe it will go.
Number one, Crystal Palace have the right. What happened today is wrong by Crystal Palace. But it's still, Crystal Palace still hold Mark Guehi under 1 year of contract. You haven't forced him to sign a new contract. You haven't asked him to sign a new contract. They're going to let him go in January, or they're going to let him go in the summer, right? He is still their player. Same, by the way, that happened for Chelsea. I had the same energy I said it's disrespectful, yes, right? It is disrespectful for the player. They had a word, they promised him a move, and they called him back. That is disrespectful. But Isak was never promised a fucking move. Jaya, he was never promised a move. The difference is there is massive difference between the two. Guehi was promised a move. Guehi was promised a move. So that's where Crystal Palace have been wrong. Alexander Isak was never promised a move. there was no point where it said that he was promised a move. Show me one thing where Isak was promised a move. He was never promised a move. They never said, you're moving.
Imagine if you're Mark Guehi, you've just completed your medical for Liverpool, you've passed it, and then someone comes knocking on the door and says, Eagles decided to piss Palace off and go to West Ham. I mean, I feel bad for him. I feel bad for us in this moment.